Greetings Indie Warriors, good to be with you once again. Old Gamer Joe bringing you another review today. We're looking at adventure exploration game Ghost on the Shore on Steam.
I don't want to see any more.
You're not alone in this, Josh.
The rogues are no place for a child. You have to think of her.
In Ghost on the Shore, you'll take control of Riley, who finds herself stranded on an abandoned island, accompanied by a voice in her head which claims to be a ghost named Josh. As you'll come to discover, this island hosts many secrets, but perhaps the most interesting part of this narrative comes from the banter between these two characters of Riley and Josh. Do you trust Josh? Does he have your best interests? What's the real truth as to why you're on these islands? It's all intriguing enough, and Ghost on the Shore does a solid job of keeping players invested throughout its short initial playtime of around 3 hours. This narrative can also branch off into different paths depending on some of the choices that you make, and there are multiple endings to be discovered. I only discovered one of these in my playthrough. So even though there isn't a ton of gameplay here to speak of, the branching paths do add to this narrative, and it's the real strength of this game. So if you're looking for an immersive gameplay experience, you won't really get that here, but if you're looking for an interesting story with a pretty good payoff, I guess that could depend on the ending you get, then this might be the game for you. The gameplay that is here mainly walks a linear path. You're going to be following a pretty straight arrow most of the way through. There's a few interactable objects here or there that can help to flesh out the story and fill out your journal, but overall it's basically about walking and finding the next story segment. This makes for a very slow-paced game, even when you are using the run option in this title, which doesn't really speed things up all that much. Expect a lot of walking and a lot of dialogue. Thankfully, again, that dialogue is pretty good between all the different characters that you'll come across. Well, ghost characters. Alright, so the gameplay is merely a vessel to advance the storyline, but at least that storyline is pretty entertaining, and visually, this game's quite stunning at times. These islands are gorgeous. The game has lush colors, lots of greens, vibrant trees, open skies. It's a beautiful looking game with dilapidated buildings as well. You can really see the rich history that they wrote into this narrative come to life through its visuals. The sound design, though, is not bad by any means, with some really great voice performances, but there's not a lot of musical compositions. There's a few, and they're great when they do appear. They're just as emotional as you might expect. I could have used a few more. There are some moments of silence throughout that felt just a little bit awkward, but still, the nature sound effects are pretty good. Overall, great visual and sound design, despite the fact that it is a little light on musical tracks. I do think the strength of this audio design comes from the performances. The lead characters are both excellent in their roles, and all of the voice acting that you come across was really professional sounding and very well done. The game also performed well at 1440p max settings with my 2070 Super. I didn't have any issues whatsoever there, getting a pretty consistent 90 plus frames per second. The fan did run a little loud on my graphics card. That could just be my card is getting up there in age, but overall didn't have any hitches, any glitches, any sort of breakdowns or anything like that. Ghost on the Shore is a sweet little adventure with some touching moments. It has beautiful visuals. The audio design is solid with some great voice performances. The gameplay is lacking though, so if you're not a fan of these walking simulators or these types of games, you're not going to have your mind changed with this one. But as someone who enjoys the occasional walking simulator so long as it's well made, I recognize that this one was. I enjoyed the banter between these characters. I was curious as to how it was all going to end up. Josh and Riley are well written. It's a good script with beautiful graphics. Well recommended.
I love you, Tig. You know that. You and me, we're both fighters. So you're gonna have to be strong without me. You're gonna have to keep watch. Make sure no one enters this beach without me knowing about it, okay? Might be Daddy. And I might not be here. And I can't miss him. I can't not talk to him, or he might leave again.
Thanks so much for watching the latest video from I Dream of Indie. We would now like to take a moment to pay tribute to our great indie warriors that support us through channel memberships. Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevalo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C Coil, Skepticism, Haley, Julian Kolbish, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Hart, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, Eric, PSC, King of the Hatch, Carmine Red, and Larkison. Thank you so much for all that you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, please head down to the description box below. Let's defeat the gaming echo chamber and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.